All right, guys, let's go over what mood is because this is going to be important in your writing. If you have the wrong mood that you're describing in your story, it's going to be a weird story. All right, so what is mood? Mood is the overall feeling for the audience that an author creates in their writing. So when you read a text and you have a particular feeling that you associate with the descriptive language, you are experiencing the mood of the story. One way to remember this is mood equals me, how I feel reading the text. Mood equals me. Mood equals me, how I feel while I'm reading the story. Now, you've definitely experienced this when you've read something and you felt a certain way, or it's caused you to be sad, or it's caused you to feel scared, or something like that. That is the mood in the story. And so, how does an author create mood in a story? They do it through the setting, which is why we're talking about this. And they also do it through their diction, which is just their word choices. Okay. And the purpose of mood is to create an emotional response in readers. Now, if every story that you ever read didn't create an emotional response in you, then that would be sad, right? We want to have an emotional response when we read something. That's part of the purpose of reading fiction. Okay, and so mood is created through setting and through our word choices. Now, setting is the place and the time that the story takes place. Okay, so a particular setting will help an author create a particular mood. For example, an uninhabited, dilapidated house in an empty forest might be a setting. And so, if you're describing this with descriptive and sensory language, we would probably feel, foreboding or sad or scared, like, oh, why are we in this uninhabited, dilapidated house? Now, diction is just a style of speaking or writing determined by the choice of words. Each word an author selects should further communicate the mood he wants to create, or she. For example, it would be very strange for the author to create a dreary mood, to have an exclamation of excitement in his dialogue. Each word should choose Each word choice should reinforce the mood the author wants to achieve. Okay. So if they're talking about something really dreary, then they wouldn't be like, wow, this is so dreary. Okay. It would be like, I'm sitting on the couch and I have never felt so alone and sad in this dark room, period. Okay. It needs to be, the words need to reflect what the mood is. Possible moods. So there are like 1,000 possible moods. Okay. Just think of all the emotions that you can technically have, and those are all the possible moods. So in Pickwick Papers, Charles Dickens says, "The river, reflecting the clear blue of the sky, glistened and sparkled as it flowed noiselessly on." That is very peaceful, right? We feel so peaceful when we hear that. Ah, the river just flowing noiselessly on. Okay, now here, Emily Bronte in Wuthering Heights is going to describe something pretty depressing. Okay, there was no moon, and everything beneath lay in misty darkness. Not a light gleamed from any house, far or near. All that had been extinguished long ago, and those at Wuthering Heights were never visible. Okay, that's depressing. No moon, misty darkness, not a light. It had been extinguished far long ago. Okay, that's depressing. Okay, now you are going to guess the mood. All right, here we go. The first one is, all of a sudden, a scream came from the basement. The power flickered in the house, and then the lights went out. A creak came from the staircase, but then it was silent. What mood is this? She skipped along the sidewalk, waving to the neighbors, head held high, Feeling the warm sun on her face, she wondered how anything could ever go wrong today. What mood is that? Now, this could be a lot of different moods, okay? So you could have chosen something like scary, suspenseful, threatening, terrifying, okay? Any of those would have worked, all right? This one could be happy, determined, satisfied, warm, or possibly foreboding, right? What about that last sentence? Feeling the warm sun in her face, she wondered how anything could ever go wrong on a beautiful day like today. It's like, oh, is something about to go wrong? But really, she's happy, determined, satisfied, warm. Any of those are fine as well. Here are some possible moods: odd, calm, cheerful, chipper, confident, contemplative, excited, exhilarated, optimistic, passionate, peaceful, playful, thoughtful, touched, trustworthy, warm, welcome, aggravated, annoyed, anxious, apathetic, apprehensive, exhausted, irritated, intimidated, heartbroken, haunting, merciless, moody, pessimistic, predatory, rejected, restless, scared, serious, sick, somber, suspenseful, terrifying, threatening, uncomfortable. Any of those are possible moods that you can use when you are writing to make the reader feel these.